Good morning. It is Thursday, October 7th. It is 5:40 in the morning. A little bit later than I'm normally out here. What happened was Windows just released a new update, and it's a big update. It's switching numbers, in fact. So it went from Windows 10 to Windows 11. So anyway, I just did that last night right before I went to sleep because I wasn't sure how long the process was going to take. And so I did that. And so when I woke up this morning, I just wanted to see what the progress was of the update. And it turns out that the update went smoothly, but there's a few more steps that I had to do in order to get my computer up and running. So I woke up and I looked at the computer, sat down at the computer, and I realized, oh no, it's like 5:14 already. All right, I'll be doing this anyway today sometime, so let me just put this on pause and let me go do that. My mile just finished. So, I mean, there's probably a lesson in that yourself. Other things will get done, but you just gotta learn to prioritize. And I've just been prioritizing this morning workout every single day, and that's non-excusable. This is no questions, non-debatable. Like, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna do my runs in the morning. Oh, Francis. Oh, it's not Francis. So anyway, yeah, that took up a little bit of my time this morning. And they came down, did my planks first thing, and I did 1:15, so that's great. I can just feel the core just quivering, just absolute, like, uncontrolled quivering and pulsating of my core. And yeah, so something my wife told me yesterday, she's like, you just got to really squeeze your core and squeeze your butt. So I'm like, okay, I thought about that this morning. So I was holding myself and yeah, just really squeeze everything, engage everything. There's a lot of bugs today. Engage everything and eked out a couple more seconds. So happy about that. Started a book yesterday. It's a book by George Green, and it's called the 48 Laws of Power. I went on Amazon, and it's one of those like must-read books, right? So I say, hey, I'll give it a shot. I've read a few must-read books on Amazon. Didn't really care for it. For example, what was that? 12 Rules of Life from not Daniel Kahneman, from Jordan Peterson. And yeah, Order and Chaos. And so I read it, and well, not read the whole thing. I got to like chapter 6, and so not quite halfway through it, but I'm like, this is not for me. I'll find out these life lessons some other way. So I'll put it down, move on to the next book. But anyway, started a new book yesterday. 48 Laws of Power. I just realized both of these books are talking about laws. Like they're set in stone, engraved in the tablets of life. These are the laws of life. And I don't discredit them. I'm sure they've figured out something that everybody will eventually figure out, but sometimes it's better to figure it out earlier than later. So anyway, he goes on to tell this story in the very first chapter about King Louis the 14th. King Louis the 14th. So back then, before King Louis the 14th came into power, as King Louis the 13th, he had this financial advisor. This financial advisor lived past the life of the Louis the 13th, and he was inherited to the same position as a financial overseer to King Louis the 14th. So when this new young king came into power, the financial advisor felt like he needed to make a good impression. You know, he really wanted to curry the favor of the new king. So one of these days he plans this banquet, and it's such an extravagant banquet. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Count of Monte Cristo, but anyway, there's a scene where he's gonna meet the city for the very first time after he's found all his treasures and after he's got all this gold. He's gonna go and meet the the town for the very first time. So like the hot air balloon comes in, there's like fireworks and just a silhouette of the hot air balloon coming in, and everybody just like stops in their tracks, just like amazed, you know, like, who is this person with all this money? And then the hot air balloon comes out, and the gymnasts, they twirl themselves out from the basket, and they pull down the balloon, and he walks up and he's like, hello, and he walks off. So anyway, the financial advisor, he plans this amazing banquet, 7-course meals, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the most elite people in society are here. They're eating foods that they've never eaten before from the Orient, fireworks, and just an amazing evening, amazing. And you know, all the while, everybody's rubbing shoulders with the elite. So everybody comes up to the new king, Louis XIV, and they just thank him for such an extravagant meal, and what an experience. This is a day that they'll never ever forget because of the financial overseer did for them, head financial advisor. So now the advisor, he's thinking like, okay, cool, like I did a really good job. I'm helping out the king. The king likes me, you know, like I'm really in his good graces right now. The next day, he gets arrested for suspected treason, stealing from the treasury, which was administered by the king. The king said, use these funds, you know, hush hush, but just use these funds for this purpose and that purpose. Like, so he gets arrested the very next day, and he's charged with, I think, like treason and theft from the government and all of these charges, and he just can't believe it. And he's sentenced away for 20 years. The 20 years that remained in his life, he was sentenced to this prison, and he died there. He died there after this one night. So the book goes on to say that he didn't realize who his superior was. He didn't realize what kind of person King Louis XIV is. And King Louis XIV was a very, very insecure person. So law number 1 was never outshine the master. And they just go on to say, like, if you've got talents and if you've got abilities, always try to use that to make your superiors look better. And at the same time, you may have, you know, you doesn't mean that you have to be worse than you are, but no, try to make your superiors better, because in that way they'll make you better. They'll promote you, they'll give you things, they'll give you more power if you empower them, I guess was that going on to say. He compared this story to Galileo. Long story short, Galileo discovered the moons, right? He discovered the moon, saw the craters, and then he looked even farther and he discovered the 7 moons of Jupiter. And so he decided to name the moons after some of the noble family of that time. And so those moons were associated with the Roman gods, right? So anytime they say they look up into the sky, everybody's going to think about that star, which has your name, but you are a god in a sense. And so they gave him everything. They gave him, like, he became the Galileo that we know, because he empowered his superiors. So using your strengths to make others around you better, I guess, is law number 1. And know what kind of people you're dealing with. If you're dealing with insecure people, then don't point out their insecurities if they're in a position of power over you. But try to make them better, and in effect, they'll make you better. So yeah, that's law number 1. So I'm really excited about this book. I got to read law number 4 yesterday, and some of them, they seem very kind of like cutthroat, a little bit like stepping into the dark side a little bit of like how to achieve power. Some of them are good principles, but others are just kind of like, yeah, I probably wouldn't, I probably wouldn't do that. That's just not my personality. It's not how I was raised. So anyway, new book, new Windows 11. I bought an upgrade for my PC yesterday, and today's Thursday, so 2 more days of work, and then the weekends are work as well. Not really much of a rest, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want, take a look at that book. That book's pretty old. It's not a new book by any means. It's really old. By George Green, 48 Laws of Power. He also has a really good book about mastery. That I've read another one about mastery by George Leonard. Surprisingly, they got the same first name, George Leonard Mastery. And I just love that book. That was such a good book. But I might check out Mastery by George Green next after this 48 Powers. And maybe I might just stop liking this book and move on to another one. Who knows? Anyway, you're great. You're amazing. Jesse, keep it up. Self-discipline is key. Do the things that you know you should do when you don't want to do them. That's the forming of habits, and that's the forming of self-discipline. And you give a vote to yourself. Internally, you vote for yourself every single day when you're out here. Even though I want to sit down at the computer today, I wanted to kind of fiddle around with the new toy, the new Windows, but no, I said no, I'll do this later on today. It doesn't even matter. But what I need to do is I need to get down, do my exercise, do my YouTube video, and shoot this for myself and for whoever is out there watching. Thank you very much. You guys have a good day, and keep it up. Oh look, see, force of habit, putting my mask on. I'm still not done. We'll do my push-ups, but we'll catch you later. Love you, and aloha.